One of the big questions after last night's Pennsylvania Senate debate here will be which issues resonate most with voters, or if those issues are going to be drowned out by questions over John Fetterman's fitness or Dr. Oz's substance. Joining me now is Congressman Mike Doyle, Democrat from Pennsylvania, here in Pittsburgh, and Rich Fitzgerald, Allegheny County Executive. So both of you know Pennsylvania, you know this area, you know the candidates. We come to you first. Congressman Doyle.
Well, people here know John Fetterman. John's been Mayor of Braddock. This is a guy that chose the life of service. He had master's degrees from Connecticut, from Harvard, could have been in his father's insurance business, but instead he decided to join AmeriCorps and help people. That's what he's done basically his whole career. People know the work he's done here, and people support him.
Let me ask you, Rich Fitzgerald, you're the county executive here for the Democrats. I want to play a little bit of sound from the debate last night.
But there is that 2018 interview that you said, quote, "I don't support fracking at all." So how do you square the two?
I do support fracking, and I support fracking, and I stand and I do support fracking.
So fracking is a big issue in Pennsylvania. It's a huge industry here. And both candidates had actually flipped on their support for fracking. It wasn't clear that that came out in the way the debate was handled.
Yeah, I think, some of the way that was set up made it difficult for John because of what he's going through. But he answered the question that he is supportive of the industry. And I think you've seen a lot of the labor unions, particularly our building trades, who it's so important for those folks in that industry, that they support John Fetterman because he is supportive of the industry. It's important to us. And I thought the way Dr. Oz didn't answer very many questions, I thought was more, quite frankly, more illuminating than the way John was.
It's really interesting to me because from a national perspective, the immediate response was, Fetterman had these problems and could not articulate. You and I were talking about this, Congressman. From the Pennsylvania perspective, the union guys know him, and you know from your own connections that stroke victims have not a comprehension problem, but it's aphasia. It's the auditory problem. I just wonder why they agreed to a debate with those rules, with 15-second quick rebuttals, where the closed captioning couldn't even keep up with it.
Well, certainly the format, Oz is a TV celebrity doctor. John has aphasia, and cognitively, he's fine. My brother works with stroke patients before he retired. And John understands everything. He's able to think. It's the processing of what he hears and then to come back and speak. And in a 15-second format where you get asked a question and you have 15 seconds to respond, people that are going through what John's going through have trouble doing that. But it doesn't affect his ability to think. Mentally, his brain is working fine, and he'll be fine eventually. That part of his brain's going to heal. People here know that, and I think, the pauses and some of the things that you saw during the night where if somebody didn't understand what aphasia was, might look strange to them, but this has been well documented here in Western Pennsylvania, and that's not going to be a basis for not voting for John.
That said, did the fact that he couldn't campaign all during July and August, actually from May on, he could not campaign until mid-August, so he wasn't showing up. We were talking yesterday, Rich Fitzgerald, about how you got to show up and people have to see you and know that you care. So was he already falling behind because of that?
Well, certainly it remains to be seen where the voters are going to be. Again, back to last night, I thought John's answers might not have been as quickly done as slick as Dr. Oz's, but the answers, I think, for people in Western Pennsylvania were, yes, he supports Roe v. Wade. Yes, he supports fracking. Yes, he supports raising the minimum wage. Whereas Dr. Oz, again, he's a TV celebrity. He knows how to deal in that format, but he really wasn't answering the questions that I think most working class people in Western Pennsylvania wanted to hear.
And if you look at the state, though, what about the suburbs? What about the collar
I think in the suburbs, one of the things that are going to resonate there, Dr. Oz said that abortion should be between a woman, her doctor, and local politicians. Well, We all know what that means. The local politicians pass a law, and the doctors and the woman have to do whatever law they passed. That's a scary proposition for women, I think, when you think of 50 different states making 50 different laws. And I can tell you, here, our neighboring states in Ohio and West Virginia, a lot of those women are going to be forced to come to Pennsylvania, maybe, if the legislatures in those states get to make the rules. Oz couldn't even say if he would vote for the national abortion ban that Lindsey Graham sponsored. 3 times he was asked about that, and he didn't give the answer. He didn't give a clear answer. So I think especially suburban women heard that, and I think, to me, that was one thing that really stood out when Oz was talking.
Commissioner, should Fetterman be more transparent about releasing the medical records? That's been a standard of campaigns, to release your medical records. Trump was, certainly criticized appropriately for only having that very strange doctor's letter. And they weren't transparent when he first suffered the stroke. It was life-threatening. It was 3 days before the election. That weekend, he didn't come out till Sunday. And they came out with a very well-produced video. But they really did not acknowledge the severity of his illness in time for the party, perhaps, to replace him on the ticket.
It has led to questions, and I think that the more transparent and the more medical evaluation that could be put out there publicly would certainly make some people feel good. But as Mike said, Mike's brother works with those folks that have had this issue. There is a time delay, and it's going to get better. But was it going to get better in the next 2 weeks? That makes it very difficult. So again, the answers I thought were what most people wanted to hear. They just might not have been as slick as the TV personality on the other side.
Any regrets from party officials that they didn't replace him on the ticket earlier?
Well, that wasn't. I don't think that was. I don't know if those conversations were had. I'm not sure.
I don't think that was ever a consideration. I'm pretty well connected to the party. I've been in office here 28 years. I never heard any talk of replacing John.
Okay. Congressman, Commissioner, great to see you both. Thanks so much. Thanks for your
Andrea.
hospitality in this wonderful city of Pittsburgh.
Welcome to Pittsburgh.
It's great. Love being here.